All right, I'm excited for this one today because I'm going to share with you something that I would say is probably one of my favorite things to see on radar. We had a great example of it on Tuesday in southeast Texas. This was just southeast of Houston. And I'm just going to play the radar loop for you here and look at this almost perfectly circular ring that is emanating from this storm that just happens to be right over the radar site here. Okay, now you may have seen radar rings before, this idea of a circular thing emanating from one spot on radar. A lot of the times it can be birds leaving the roost in the morning. In this case, this is outflow from a storm, okay? So that's one big outflow boundary, the whole circle that you're seeing. It's also called a gust front sometimes. And the way those form is it's usually during a storm that's in the process of collapsing. And we just happened to find this perfect example where the storm was right over the radar site and we got a great view of it. So this storm starts to collapse. You get all this cool, dry air from the top of the storm. It shoots down to the ground and it sends this wind gust out in all directions. And that's what you're seeing with that ring on radar. Okay, now, you're not seeing rain, okay? The actual ring here that you're seeing on radar, none of that is rain. So picture like it's dry outside and you get this, 30, 40 mile an hour wind gust that comes through. What do you think it does? It picks up little stuff like dust, pollen, maybe even some leaves and stuff like that. And that's what the radar is actually picking up there. Now, one more interesting thing about outflow boundaries like this is that they often can spawn their own storms. They're usually a little bit on the smaller side, but the outflow boundary can act a little bit like a squeegee. As it emanates outward, it lifts the air that's out ahead of it. And as that air lifts, if you're in the right atmospheric conditions like we definitely were here on Tuesday, you'll get another storm that'll pop up. So it's almost like this mass storm reproduction thing where a storm will rise, it will collapse, it shoots out an outflow boundary. That outflow boundary creates more storms. Here's a great example of that in Alvin, kind of on the west side of where this radar ring was. You can see right after that outflow boundary moves through, you get a storm that pops up. Anyway, I just wanted to share that with you guys because I thought it was really, really cool.